Hello Virgo, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section we'll be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you are a cross watcher, just know this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Virgo, we're going to jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first. So we're going to look at your energy toward the connection, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. And then we will dive into tarot to look deeper at the situation as we progress. But first, I want to start with your energy here, Virgo, toward the person you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. This is Virgo's side of this connection. Patience. I've been having, as soon as I started this reading, my throat chakra has been having some issues. So there might be something there with like speaking your truth or being honest about what you need or speaking up about what you need. All right, you have connection and patience here. I feel like you do feel a very real, very deep connection to this person, but I feel like this patience card feels both like an energy of waiting, but also like an energy of being very careful, trying to, I don't want to say calculated because I don't necessarily think that's the right word, but just trying to play your cards right, if you will. Which might be part of the problem. We're going to come back to that. Okay, this person's energy toward you. Oof, shattered. I hear complicated past. Yeah, robotic. I feel like this person's been through a lot in their past. And because of that, they carry this energy of feeling broken. I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying I feel as if they're broken. I'm saying they feel as if there is something that makes them hard to love, that makes love for them impossible. And I feel because of that, with this robotic card, they're kind of emotionally disconnected a little bit, like almost as if they're, they go through the motions, but they're not. It just, very disconnected from themselves, disconnected from what they want. Like, I feel like they have a tendency to really play it safe, not put themselves out there. And I feel like a big part of that is because, they see themselves as this kind of shattered energy. So I'm interested to see how that plays into the connection itself. But truth of the connection between Virgo and this person. Synchronicity. You and this person are drawn to each other for a reason, because I do feel like this person is drawn toward you, but then there's interference. And the wild card. Okay, this is kind of complicated because it's like you're drawn to each other, but then there's this almost like there's this wall up in between the two energies. So it's like you're drawn, but nothing can fully develop here. But I want to know why. I want to know what this interference is. Because, that's definitely complicated for you, because I feel like you're like, because you do feel this connection. Okay. I'm going to just keep going. Sorry, I'm trying to figure too much out too soon, I think. Overall theme of this reading between you and this person here, Virgo. Overall theme of this reading between Virgo and this person. Second option. So feeling like an option here. Feeling like this person isn't prioritizing you or the connection in the way that you would want. And yeah, someone has unmet needs, which means that your needs aren't being met. But then on the bottom, you have feelings are mutual. So the feelings are there, but this person is very, I don't feel like this person prioritizes this connection much, which is why I feel like you're trying to be patient, but I feel like you're kind of getting frustrated. So, all right, let's put all the pieces together now because there's a lot going on here. So let's figure out what's coming through. Virgo side of the connection, patience with connection. All right. Virgo's energy toward the person they are dealing with. Whoa. Death in reverse. Death in reverse. You don't want this to end or like to not work out, but I feel like there's a lot of frustration here in regard to how things are unfolding. And I think you're right to feel frustrated. 10 of Pentacles in reverse, feeling undervalued. Feeling as if you bring a lot to the table, but as if that's not being valued or shown up for, or like seen or respected or something of that nature when it comes to this person. And I think specifically in this connection too, because I feel like it's like you're trying to be patient with them, right? That's the whole thing. You're trying to be patient with them. But in the meantime, you also recognize that you aren't getting what you need and deserve. Page of Swords. But I also feel that you're trying not to be too, like, you're trying not to come on too strong, or like you're trying not to push them away. I feel like there's a really big fear of pushing this person away. 4 of Pentacles. So yeah, it kind of feels like you're trying to just like focus on other things. Or to, kind of distract yourself or not pay attention to, or to just kind of wait for things to evolve. Ace of Cups in reverse. Goodness sakes, 2 of Cups. But there's a strong connection here. So it's really hard for you to do that because, again, I get this feeling that, like, you don't want to walk away. Like, you don't want this connection to end. You don't want this. I also don't even know, like, how much this is fully developed into, like, maybe for some of you, you've been with this person for a while. Maybe for some of you, this is brand new, but it just feels as if this is about never fully developing to the level that you desire in the connection, whether it's level of commitment, level of connection or intimacy or whatever. Depth. And it feels like you're trying to, and I said this in the very beginning, like you're trying to play your cards right. Like you want to make sure you're showing up in alignment with what you feel is going to be best, like what's gonna make this connection work. And I think and I said, I feel like that might be where, yeah, there's the throat chakra. Because the most important thing here is for you to be authentic. Because I feel as if you're maybe hiding how you really feel or not being honest about what you need here because you're afraid of maybe being overbearing or of asking for too much, but yet you're kind of suffering in silence here in a lot of ways. Because it feels like you're, with the Ace of Cups in reverse, like you're trying to push it down, you're trying to not think about it, but you are unhappy with how things are or how they're unfolding. But again, it's like you don't want to push them away. You want to build. That's what I'm getting with this Four of Pentacles. You want to build with them. You want this to grow. You want this to evolve. So I feel like you're trying to be patient. But yeah, there's something about throat chakra authenticity here. Because the best way to figure out what doesn't align with you, like what isn't meant for you, is to show up 100% authentically. And anything that isn't meant for you will fall away. Like when you're honest about your needs, your desires, your feelings, things of that nature. But I don't know if there's a fear of that here or if like maybe that's caused issues in the past. So it does kind of feel like maybe you've been taught that like your needs, don't matter or aren't as important. So like you're trying to make sure that their needs are taken care of, that like this person feels good. But yeah, it's just, this is complicated, I think, for you, for sure. So let's look at what is going on with this person. This person's energy toward you. Temperance, Five of Cups, the Fool. They desire a new beginning in love. They desire to, I feel like they do desire a lot of the same thing that you do. But here's the Seven of Swords. This is like, it's hidden. They're not being honest about how they feel and what they want here. Knight of Wands in reverse. They struggle with vulnerability. They struggle with being open and being real with their feelings and what they want here. Okay. Three of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, I said this at the beginning, and then the Emperor in reverse on the bottom. This person has kind of a complicated past and history when it comes to relationships, and I think that their complicated history has a lot to do with the result of relationships in the past. I think that in the past, like, they've tried to be open, and it has ended up kind of biting them in the butt, if you will. Like, it feels like every time they try to be vulnerable or open, they kind of end up getting screwed over. And I feel like the way that they've experienced relationships to this point has them feeling like they are deeply unlovable. Like, almost as if, like, it is hard for this person to believe that anybody could truly, love them, want to be with them. And I think because of that, or like want to be in their life, it doesn't have to be romantic, but I feel like because of that causes them to like expect rejection or to not allow themselves the opportunity to be rejected, because it feels as if they already kind of expect other people to hurt them or other people to do them wrong. So because of that, it feels as if they've kind of shut themselves down in a lot of ways. And I think that it's not that they don't have desire, because I feel like they really do. It feels like they feel similarly to you about the connection, about the potential, but it also kind of feels as if they don't like vulnerability, like, at all. They don't like to feel vulnerable. They don't like to feel out of control. So because of that, I'm using card analogies a lot in this, but I was going to say keep their cards really close to their chest. You know why? Is I feel like there's this energy of trying to play games here, like trying to be very calculated. Like, if they text me, I'm gonna wait a couple of hours before I text them back, and then if they say this, I'm gonna make sure I respond like this, so they see it like this. And I feel like that's really ruining the chance and potential for connection here, because it feels like everybody's trying too hard to do what's right, but nobody's really showing up in alignment with what they really feel here. And I think because of that, there is a lot of kind of reading in between the lines and maybe looking at things through the lens of insecurity. And I feel like it's really important to know that that's happening, because it does feel as if the feelings here are mutual and genuine, but I also feel at the same time as if you're, because even if you've been with this person for forever, it's like really hard for them to believe that you really love them and like want to be in their life, which is really interesting. It could be new. Like I said, it could be new, or it could be, you could have experienced this connection for a while. But yeah, this person is used to being really let down by people that they let in. So like, even if you try to love them or to show up for them, it almost feels as if they shut it down. It's like hard for them to believe that you actually love them. And I think that, one of the things that I've really learned about healthy, consistent, sustainable relationships is that it requires both people to know how to show up well in loving others, and also to know how to receive love well. Because receiving love requires us to love ourselves enough to believe we're deserving of it. Because if we don't believe we're deserving of love, if we don't believe we are inherently lovable, we're going to push away anyone or anything that tries to show us what it is that we deserve. Because we don't know how to accept love that is better, healthier, or greater than the love that we give ourselves. So we will automatically reject it because we don't believe that we are worthy of that acceptance. And I think that that's what can be really hard for you in this connection, is I feel like the way that you see this person, you're like, no, like I want to be in your life, or I want to explore this, or I want to, I love you, like I want to do this. But to them, it's like they don't know how to believe that. Like they struggle to believe that you truly feel that way. And it's nothing that you've done. And I don't even know if there's anything you can do, because it feels as if this person has a lot of healing to do in their past, because it feels like they're looking at their past experiences as proof of their, of their worth. Because the way that others treat us isn't a reflection of how they value us, right? It's a reflection of how they value themselves. And I talk about that a lot in this on this channel, because especially when we're talking about relationships, we have a tendency to internalize how other people treat us. And if we aren't careful, we will take on the unhealed wounds of others as a reflection of our own worth. So we'll say, if you didn't love me well, or if you didn't treat me well, if you hurt me or whatever, that means that I'm not deserving of it or capable of it or whatever. And it feels as if this person carries kind of a lot of deep-seated, I don't know if shame is the right word, or just feelings of being not good enough to be loved and treated well. So it's almost as if no matter how you show up here, they aren't letting you love them in the way that you want to. And that's why it comes off as if they're treating you as an option. It's not that they are, okay? Because I don't feel like they're being nonchalant about this, or they're pretending like they don't care, not because they don't actually care, but because the second that they admit both to you and to themselves that they do care is the second they lose control, right? It's the second that they start to be vulnerable. And vulnerability is something that I feel like this person doesn't know how to do. So they shut down, they push away, and they try to just create this space and this distance, even though the desire is closeness. But I feel like they believe anybody that gets close to them is going to see, quote unquote, who they really are, see that they're unlovable. So they push love away before they even give anybody else the chance to really see them and love them in the way that they do desire here. And I think that that's why there's a need for you to make sure that you aren't trying to be what this person needs, and that we're making sure you're showing up in alignment with what you need, being honest about how you feel and what you deserve and what you desire. Because first of all, something that I think needs to be said, you're not here to be an energy source or a source of validation for people who aren't doing their own work, okay? You're not here to fix, save, or heal anybody. And you also have to make sure that, to make sure that you're not taking on the same kind of thing I was talking about with this person. That you're not taking on other people not showing up for you in the way that you deserve, or not loving you or choosing you in the way that you deserve, as a reflection of your worth and your value here. Because I feel like the way that this person shows up in this connection, it doesn't have anything to do with you. It has a lot to do with their unhealed past and their unhealed wounds that I feel they're projecting onto you. It's like they expect you to be like the people who have hurt them, even though I don't feel that in your energy at all. But that is a core result of unhealed wounds. And I can actually relate to this. Before I did any healing, I used to have this, it's kind of embarrassing now thinking back to it, but I used to have this saying that was, guilty until proven innocent, right? The opposite of like innocent until proven guilty. I used to believe that all people were like out to get me and out to hurt me until like they could prove themselves that they weren't. And now it's the opposite. Now I feel like I expect that every single person is kind and loving and genuine, and I give everybody the chance to be that, because I think that the way that I see the world is very different because I don't see it through the lens of my wounds anymore. But it feels as if this person has a really complicated, really painful, unhealed past that is keeping them from being able to receive the level of love that you can and do provide, because they don't know, first of all, they don't believe that they can have it, and they don't know how to accept it. So that's what's interfering. That's the interference. You both feel drawn to each other, but this person has put up this wall in between the two of you. But you were supposed to meet for a reason. But it's not about their healing. This is some sort of like I don't know if it's like there's something Spirit's asking you to see about this connection to help you on your journey. Interesting. Okay, because all relationships are assignments. I want to take this, and the Fool here. But it's like they deeply crave and desire love, but it's almost as if they don't believe they can have it, because they haven't done the healing here. So I think that I think a lot of times, especially like I get this a lot in personal readings too, and it's understandable, it's very human, but people will reach out to me and say, look at this connection between me and so-and-so, let me know, like, how do they feel about me, right? That's a big question I get. How does this person feel about me? And I've really come to learn, or to try to help others see that how somebody feels about you is such a small factor in the grand scheme of receiving the love that you deserve. Because how somebody feels about you doesn't reflect their capacity, right? Somebody can have feelings for you, but not know how to give and receive love in a healthy way, and therefore not have the ability to show up for the love that you deserve. So somebody having feelings for you doesn't matter if they don't have the capacity to back it up with action, to back it up with, commitment, whatever. And I think that, one of the things that I've really learned about relationships in general is that everybody will meet you not where you deserve to be met, but where they're at, right? Everybody has a capacity to give and receive love, and that capacity is based on their healing, their growth, their emotional awareness, their emotional intelligence, all the things, right? And that capacity can deepen, but the capacity that exists is going to be what they're capable of, unless there is very real work that is done to help them show up for this in a healthy way. And I think for you, you're in this position where like you don't want this connection to end, but you're consistently feeling like you are not being treated the way that you deserve, that you're not being treated in association with your value. And to be honest with you, you're not. But it's not because this person doesn't see your value, it's because this person doesn't see them as valuable enough to receive what you have to provide. So it's actually the opposite. This person sees your value so much so that they don't know how to believe that they are worthy of you in their life, of what it is that you provide. And therefore, I think there's some self-sabotage here. Like I said, the kind of pushing it away, creating that wall. And yeah, that can be complicated, but I feel like Spirit is asking you to look at what's in your power and your control here, because, we can't change where other people are at. We can't change other people's capacity. We can't love people into loving themselves. And the more that we try, the more we might lose ourselves in the process. But we're going to dive deeper into this. We're going to look at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So I'm going to pull 12 more tarot messages, and then I've got an advice card from your spiritual team that I will pull at the very end. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Virgo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Virgo.